Okay, so I'm back in the glary room. I know there was a little bit of glare on it earlier when I previously did a video in here. But as you can kind of hear, there's some rumbling downstairs of a very, very loud bass. Can you hear that? That is my husband. I don't actually know what he's doing. I think he's fixing a pedal, but he is a bass player in a couple of bands. So I'm just letting him get on with that right now. But yes, I am now on, I think it's day 5 of this little video blog. And today is Sunday, traditionally a day of rest. No, not in my life. Today I am running an event called the Freelancers Network Social, which is just, I don't know how it happened, but it became a really kind of big thing. I set up a consultancy service about a year ago, just offering my services and advice to gigging singers and slash musicians that wanted to go out and perform regularly on the kind of gig scene for money, actual kind of paid work, as opposed to doing original stuff and promoting that, which is slightly different. But basically helping artists and bands look at their set lists, whether they're singing the right material, whether they have good promotional material, and offering them a chance to kind of refine it a little bit and get better bookings more regularly. And it came about because a few people asked me about several places that I have residencies and who to speak to, how to go about it, and and I just thought, well, why not just make a thing and then share my knowledge? And I'm not professing to be clued up on it all, but I've got a lot of experience, so that's basically what it was sharing my experience. And then to promote this service, I set up a freelancers kind of network event. And it was inviting people in the kind of creative music industry area, kind of anyone from promoters and managers to songwriters, singers, musicians, that kind of thing, to come and have coffee and chill and chat. And no one could do a weekend, which we all know. So we made them a Tuesday thing, and it kind of took off. And then before we knew it, we were running them every 2 months. And the third one in, we had 45 people in the room, and we went from about 8 to about 45, and then we realized this was a thing. So we made it a bit of a regular kind of cult thing. You get involved in the Freelancers Network, and we've played around with different days, and Tuesday nights work and Sunday daytimes work. And this one is a little bit overdue. I think it's been about 4 months. November was the last time we did one, and what we did is we took over a big venue. Normally they run in one room and there's kind of a bar or tea and coffee, and we chill, chat, exchange cards, and I have some guest speakers do a bit. But the last one we did was in November, and we turned it into a convention. So we took over the whole building, and we had videographers in one room and singers in another. Then we had a main live room arena type thing where we had some performers and some people doing demonstrations, and it was really, really cool. We got nice kind of press coverage, and the local radio station kind of clicked onto it, which was great. And we kind of established ourselves. So now we're going to go back to the original format, which is just like a few hours meet, greet, that kind of thing. And then what we'll do is we'll run a convention every year. So once a year we'll put this on, but actually just the network events themselves are pretty well kind of received. So today I have the Freelancers Network Social 6. So I host it, and myself and now my son, which is great. We run this behind the scenes, promoting it, creating events, looking at venues, getting acts to come down and do something or talk. And today we are joined by London producer and singer-songwriter Lloyd Hinselwood, who is a really, really cool guy. He's actually a local guy from here but moved to London, and he's doing some great things, chart-worthy stuff with some great R&B pop acts, and he also promotes women in music industry. So he does a lot of coaching, a lot of teaching around production and getting women skilled up so they can kind of, you know, be as popular in this industry as what men are. And it's not a bad thing. I'm not slagging off men for having kind of more success in this field, but it is a thing. There's lots of women out there doing some great things, but it's just not widely known. So he does loads of stuff to do with that, which is brilliant, and he's bringing down one of his artists to perform a couple of songs. And then I have another person called Nat Birch, who goes under the name Makala. She is just doing amazing things on Spotify. I mean, millions and millions of streams, totally unsigned, just a great advocate for the DIY artist. She's got it all going on. And again, we've kind of crossed paths through teaching and working together. We've written a couple of songs together a few years ago, and we're really good friends. And it's about that network. It's about building those relationships early doors, and keeping hold of them and making sure that you know, you kind of check out your friends' stuff, see where they're going with their career, support them, like things, share things, and then eventually when an opportunity arises and you kind of need a favour, or you know, you're really keen to get somebody involved in something, regardless of whether they're doing very, very well for themselves, they will remember when you worked together, when you had that relationship, and they will help you out too. So it kind of works both ways. And I'm really passionate about building relationships in the music industry, in any industry, I think, but music industry is very, very close to me and big in my life. So whenever I meet someone kind of linked to it, whether it's a videographer or a photographer or a promoter or a studio engineer or a festival organizer, I go all in. I'm not one of those people that just kind of like, oh, you know, I might find you on Facebook. I will find you. I will follow you. I will share your stuff. I will like you, and I will keep in touch with you. And also, I'm not afraid of making my presence known on social media. So lots of people do know lots of things about me and what I'm doing. So I feel like in my line of work, that is the best way to be. Some people struggle with that, and some people find it hard to put themselves out there, especially in front of a big platform of people. And I think to a certain degree, I was the same for a while. Like, I felt a little bit judged, sometimes by my own family, to be honest with you, but they weren't being horrible. They just didn't have the same outlook as I did. And you know, a couple of times I would get kind of, why do you have to put everything out there? And I think actually at the time I may have been putting everything out there, from opinions to what I'm up to next weekend. But I don't think back then, we're talking like 10 years ago, I don't think back then I knew what it was I was trying to do. Whereas fast forward to now, I know exactly what I want to do. I know exactly what I want people to see, and I know how people will see it effectively. So I use social media to my advantage, and it's taken a little bit of time to kind of get it right. And I still think with things changing and the kind of the Facebook algorithms and people seeing things that they you know, things changing basically within social media, I do feel like you have to keep on top of it and you have to kind of learn along the way. But I would definitely say in the last 10 years, I've learned to utilise it as a business tool for myself. But this, going back to this network event, this is really passionate. It's a really passionate venture of mine. I wanted the consultancy to be the thing that everyone knew about, but it turns out that the network event is what everybody knows about. So instead of trying to make a shift, I've now run with that. That's now the thing. And it just so happens that if you do want to book a consultancy session or you want to go through your stuff with me, then I'm happy to do it. But these network events are free and nobody has to pay anything. Apart from when we do the convention, we charge a £5, but we give it all to charity. So it's not a big expense, but it's an expense to me. I do cover people's expenses as and when they ask me to. I usually buy lots of tea, coffee and cake, and I put that out, which reminds me I probably need to go and do that as well. and yeah, so it's something of myself that I'm giving away, not just personally but financially as well. But I feel like everyone needs to meet everybody. Like some people are really thankful when I put work their way, And it surprised me at first because I was like, why are people like really thankful that you've recommended them for something? And then it hit me. A lot of people don't share enough. A lot of people don't give enough of themselves. You can't do everything. I can't do everything. I have a big, you know, line of gigs. I've only, on one of my posts, I've only put up to halfway through the year, and it is absolutely rammed with work. But there's only so many Saturdays you can do. There's only so many Friday nights you can do. You know, I have to turn down a lot of work, and I am more than happy to recommend other great singers. I am not in the slightest worried that those singers will take over the work I have, because I believe I do a good enough job. But I do think that there isn't enough sharing, and there isn't enough kind of building other people up in this industry, especially women. There are lots of guitarists, there are lots of guys out there who session for each other and recommend other people, but I do find that the female side of things can get a little bit territorial. So I've made it my mission for that not to be the case. I think there's plenty of work to go around. I think if we meet and network and you see exactly how lovely people are, then you want to give them other opportunities yourself. And I've given lots of opportunities to people, and I've recommended them for places, and I now see that those places book them regularly. I don't think for 1 minute, oh, that could have been me. I get thanks for that. And whenever I might need a favour, I can turn to those people. This is about building relationships and networking. And I think as a freelancer and as somebody who has lots of fingers in lots of different pies, you need your friends. You need allies in this industry, and you need people to support you as much as you want to support them. So that's what today's about. And yeah, I am excited about it. I'm tired, but last night was brilliant, very, very loud. And I know that in my last post, I said, I don't know how I'm going to make it through the second set. Well, I made it through the second set. I sang. And it was really, really good. I've got a little video clip of them kind of going for it and the noise levels, but also at the same time, we had a great time at the end. So it was really, really good fun. But today, it's all about the Freelancers Network. And then straight after that, I have a band practice till 10:30. So I think I literally squeeze everything out of my time. I was gonna say my weekends. No, this is just life. But I kind of squeeze as much as I can. And I sometimes think to myself, oh, it'll be a bit quieter next weekend, but it just doesn't. Okay, so my last video turned off. But I don't really know where I was. But to wrap up, yes, this is a crazy weekend, as well as every other weekend. I think I'm gonna need to go through my calendar and my diary and actually schedule in some time off. Yeah, just time off. What's that? Who knows what that is? But again, when I've got lots of things coming up, and they've actually been in my diary for a long time. So it's not like I'm suddenly taking on loads of more things. These have been scheduled in for a long time. It just creeps up on you. And I think that's the thing when you're a freelancer and you're in charge of your own career. You do plot these things out in advance, because you can look and you can see, oh, that'd be quite nice, summer gigs, you know, it'd be nice to be busy because, you know, this and that. And then other things shoehorn their way in. And then before you know it, you get to this month where there is not one day off. And I'm looking at my calendar right now, and I think that is coming up. So April, May is pretty ridiculous, and I may be gone by June. I might have, you know, kind of died of exhaustion, but I can't, because I have a dissertation to write. Oh God. So yeah, today is a different part of me, which is about giving back and sharing and meeting new people, and I think that's very, very important in this industry, and long may it continue.